Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a well-known franchise with a large fan base, but I want to focus more on the 2018 to 2022 version that Nickelodeon released. This particular iteration of the TMNT was supposed to last 3 seasons, only for Nickelodeon to scrap the idea of giving the fans a season 3 and ended up cutting season 2 in half, much to the displeasure and disappointment of the fans. If you haven't caught on by now, I am referring to Rise of the TMNT, and I shall dive deep and tell you all why Rise of the TMNT is the best version of the TMNT franchise, because it has reignited my hyperfixations of culture, turtles, and the TMNT franchise itself. Let's get logged on, shall we? Hello users of the internet, I am Phoenix and I have no limits on what I will do or discuss on my channel. In my pre-intro and the title of this video have already told you what I will be discussing today, which is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This video will have a few segments, the first being the history of the TMNT. The second segment will be character design, comparing the old designs to the designs in Rise of TMNT. The third segment will be me comparing the characters' old personalities to the ones within Rise. The fourth one will be why Rise has the best representation for autism in the media, and the fifth will obviously be my conclusion. Now, before I get into it, I will preface this by saying this is 100% my own opinion, and I'm welcoming your opinions down in the comments. Now sit back, relax, and grab your favourite food, whether it be pizza, chicken, or chicken nuggets, or whatever else, and get yourself something delicious to drink, something warm, or maybe cold if that's your preference. And for the love of all that's happening, just get water on standby. You can't live off of caffeine, and you need to stay hydrated. 1984. My Father is a Baby, and the first version of the TMNT is a comic series written and illustrated by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. 1987, the first debut of the TMNT series. It started as a 5-part mini-series, but ended up becoming a regular Saturday morning syndicated series on the 1st of October in 1988. With the first series turning into a full-blown show that followed the adventure of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that we all know and love. This series got an overhaul in 1990 on November 23rd, with the first movie being released. This was followed by the 1991 movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, and then again followed by TMNT 3 in 1993. Funny. March 23rd, 2007. I was still in my mother when the TMNT was released as a movie again. October 11th, 2014. I'm already born and now I'm 7 years old and 6 months at this point. This is the date of another TMNT movie. You're seeing where this is going, right? May 30th, 2016. I am now 9 years old. We all know the drill. This is the day of, you guessed it, another blooming movie for the TMNT. But Phoenix, wait, what about the series? I hear you ask. Yes, well, in 2009, Nickelodeon announces they have the rights to the TMNT franchise. In 2012, on September 28th, they reboot the series as a show that ran until November 12th, 2007. There's now a pause in the TMNT franchise. But not really, actually. Because in 2018, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is now in existence with its preview on July 20th. But it doesn't actually debut until September 17th in 2018. Rise of the TMNT movie has its trailer released on July 6th of 2022, and then it premiered on Netflix August 5th. That's the history of the TMNT franchise. Now that we have the history out of the way, let's move on to the character designs. We have the main characters, Raphael, the red one, Leonardo, the blue one, Donatello, the purple one, Michelangelo, the orange one. Don't know why I almost said green. Master Splinter, the rat, and April O'Neil, the human girl. In older versions of the TMNT franchise, the turtles are all supposed to be anthropomorphic red-eared sliders since they're mutants. But unfortunately, it's not obvious due to the generic turtle designs, with them all being the same shade of green and the same general design with the exception of the colours they wear. In Rise of the TMNT, however, they're all different turtle species with their own unique designs that match what turtle they are, and funnily enough, their personalities. Raphael is an alligator snapping turtle, made more obvious by the spines across his shell, his larger, beefier physique, and the shape of his body plastered on head shape. He has white hand wraps, white ankle wraps, and 2 white band-aids in the shape of an X on the side of his plastron that we all perceive as the left side of him, but it's actually his right side. The white hand and ankle wraps are then replaced by black hand and ankle wraps in future episodes of and in the movie. In Rise and obviously the older versions, he's the oldest of the 14s. Next, we have Leonardo. Now, in Rise, he's still a red-eared slider like the turtles are in the older series within the franchise. But unlike his older design, he is smaller in shape and height than Raphael is, and you can actually tell that Leo is a red-eared slider. The curved red marks on his face over his eyes are dead giveaway of him being a red-eared slider, even though real-life red-eared sliders have them going over their ear holes, along with the lighter, almost lime green curved markings on his arms and thighs. Like Raph, he dons black hand and ankle wraps. In Rise, he is the second oldest, and he is Donnie's twin. Here we have Donnie, better known as Donatello, who is the purple-clad tech nerd we all know and love. Donnie in Rise is a soft-shell turtle, which is made blatantly clear throughout the entire series due to his battle shell protecting his soft shell during his and his brother's fights with villains. Donnie has rectangular purple markings on his shoulders and legs, and a apart from his battle shell, Donnie wears red and blue goggles, black hand and ankle wraps like his brothers, and his wrist strap, which is also a piece of his tech. Donnie is just a little shorter than Leo and is squarer in shape, especially compared to his brothers. And next up is Michelangelo, aka Mikey, who is a box turtle and has arguably the best design in Rise because of the more circular shapes it is designed to reflect his personality. Mikey's design is much smaller than his brothers, landing him as the shortest turtle in Rise due to his species. His design has orange circular markings on his arms and legs, and 2 colourful triangles on his plastron. Mikey is the youngest of the 4 turtles, and I could probably go on to explain how the designs for Master Splinter is better, more comical, or how April's design is a massive upgrade from the previous iterations of her in the franchise, because she's now personal color with cool glasses. But this video would be an entire month long to watch, so I'll focus on the turtles for the video. Let me know if you want me to make another video about Rise of TMNT characters in the comments. Throughout the years and iterations of the TMNT franchise, there has always been a distinct personality for each of the characters, with tweaks and changes here and there to make them much more defined and give them their characters more depth. Again, though, I will focus solely on the turtles due to time constraints and for the sake of keeping this video shorter than it otherwise would be. Again, starting off with the oldest is Raphael, with obviously his colour scheme being red. What would you say if I said Leo and Raphael's personalities have been interchanged a couple of times? Because sometimes Raph is the more serious leader, and other times Leo is the serious leader. But as of Rise, Rio had that title until episode 2 finale that had 4 distinct parts spread over episodes 12 and 13 on Paramount Plus / Nickelodeon. But the main personality of Raph in Rise is he is a kind, almost parental type of brother, worried for his younger brothers and just wanting to see them succeed while also maintaining that oldest child personality. And he also really loves cats in Rise. That I think is comical. Just putting use to the big guy is actually a soft guy persona. Since I've already mentioned him, and since he is the second oldest, even though he's a twin, I'll talk about Leo. Now, Leo, over the many iterations of the TMNT, has been a serious and leader material without much room for growth where being a leader is concerned. In Rise, however, he is a fun-loving, mostly unserious turtle unless his brothers Master Splinter or April are the ones in danger. Rise Leo has many one-liners, and while they're not exactly great for hyping the others up, have a certain kind of unexpected charm to them. But one thing that has remained constant throughout the years is that Leo is seen as the hot, in quotation marks, turtle brother. Going from blue to purple, we now have Donnie. Donnie has always been the more logical and tech-savvy turtle that no matter what iteration of the TMNT franchises, will never change. In Rise, however, he is autistic canonically, which I think is brilliant, and is even more than just tech savvy. He also creates his own tech. He is autistic in Rise too. I already mentioned that earlier in that sentence. Oh well, keeping it in. I will get into that in a bit. And by in a bit, I mean after this next bloomin' paragraph. And now for the youngest, Mikey, the fun-loving, artistic, and arguably the most childlike character in Rise. In previous versions of the TMNT, he has always been the most fun-loving and energetic one of the turtles in Rise. This is cranked to 100 though, and he also has characters he plays when necessary, such as Dr. Delicate Touch and Dr. Feelings. Dr. Delicate Touch, in Mikey's words, has no feelings, and Dr. Feelings is there to help people understand how to express their feelings in a remarkably interesting and therapeutic way, if you could not tell by the doctor in that title. It's no surprise that folk that are neurodivergent or generally have a invisible disability also happen to be the most underrepresented group in the media. This is coming from a person that is autistic herself, theirself, himself, whatever you want to refer to me as. And even I feel underrepresented because autism in the media tends to be poorly thought out, has either all of the symptoms or none of the symptoms, and tend to only focus on male characters that have that leave zero room for feminine autistic representation. Before y'all come at me, yes, I do know that Donnie is a canonically male character, but with him the representation is done differently in Rise. Nickelodeon have really outdone themselves in this autistic representation, because Donnie, while he is still the tech whiz and the more scientific of them, it's not their main focus in Rise. Donnie has hyperfixations outside of science and tech. He has hyperfixations like video games and Jupiter Gym. He is depicted as having low empathy rather than no empathy. He has his stims that he does when he's overwhelmed with joy, excitement, anger, frustration, and even surprise. He's literate rather than illiterate, smart rather than dumb. He is not babied. He has a healthy number of sensory issues and sensory seeking behaviours in the show to be authentically autistic, which I think is why everyone could tell that they were going for an autistic character. Hell, he even says things he literally and is even quoted saying, "I apologize if that sounded like sarcasm, it wasn't," as reassurance to his brothers that he did not mean to come across as blunt or rude in any way. And he has difficulty expressing himself in healthy ways. This right here is why Donnie, Del Von Ryan, Donatello from Rise by Nickelodeon, is one of the best characters to use as reference when trying to explain one of the many ways autism can be manifested in people. He is the best canonically autistic character I have ever had the pleasure of seeing and or connecting with, due to how authentic the representation of autism is. And this brings us to the conclusion of the video. We started with the question of why is Rise the TMNT the best TMNT iteration from the franchise, and we have our detailed answers. It is because of the unique character designs, unique and expanded upon personalities, the character developments, and because of the subjectively best character for autism rep in the media. I hope you all have enjoyed how much of a deep dive this was for a first video. And remember that this is all simply my opinion, and your opinions are welcome in the comments. Now, if you want to see more of these deep dives with the other shows or movies, feel free to let me know, and I will request that you use a turtle emoji as the start and end of your opinion so it's easier to read, and a chat bubble emoji or the closest thing to that you have to indicate your request. Have a lovely rest of your day, night, or morning, and I will see you all in the next video I have time for. So long for now, and this is Phoenix logging off.